My name is Dana Gregg, and I'm the AP coordinator. I haven't done this talk before, but I find that there's a lot of information to navigate when it comes to AP. And also I want to explain, I know there is another meeting scheduled for the end of the day for grade 9 parents. That wasn't the original plan. This was scheduled earlier in February, and then we had that Tuesday canceled off of school. So this was the only day available, and I wanted to make sure that I got the AP information out to all parents during this time because we were dealing with course registration. You will get the information that you need in this presentation. There's no need for you to come again at 3:30, but if your son or daughter can attend, it would be really good for them because I'll make it very specific for grade 9s. Take some more time to talk about sort of their long-term options as well as a little bit more about the courses that they'll have access to in their sophomore year. But today I'm going to keep things fairly general about advanced placement and the College Board. I'm also going to ensure that you have the resources that you need and then give some time for questions. I'd like, if we can, if you can let me get through the presentation first, but please save your questions to the end. If you need to leave early and you had something that wasn't answered, I've left some Post-it notes and pencils at the back. Please just stick a Post-it on the question board on your way out, and I will make sure that I get that question answered. You can even leave me an email if you want a personal response. Otherwise, I'll put up some frequently asked questions on the Power Learning page so you can get that information. So at ASD, we are committed to offering as many options as we can to your sons and daughters, including a lot of AP courses, mostly in our junior and senior years. So I want to give you some information about that and what you can expect. So today, the sort of agenda for this talk is the following. I want to be clear what advanced placement courses are, the programs specifically at ASD, including the courses that we offer, the scores that we've received in the last year, the benefits, what is it like, and when I talk about that, I'll talk about some of the misconceptions or the myths that go around with AP, how our AP exam period works, including mock exams, planned absences and study time for students, when that occurs. Also some suggestions and things that you should be aware of, and some things that you might want to be discussing at home and making decisions around AP during this course registration period. And there's some changes that are happening within the College Board and the way AP will be managed next year. I want to give you some insights into those changes, and then of course some questions and answers. So AP, or Advanced Placement Courses, is a curriculum that's provided by the College Board, which is out of the United States, and it is to offer high school students a chance to study a college-level course. So just keep that in mind, especially if your sons and daughters are going into their sophomore and junior year. There is a transition. There's a big gap between what they were doing in grade 9 to a college level course, and sometimes that takes our students some time. So be patient with that process. Every AP course here at ASD allows for a GPA bump of 0.25 upon completion, but they must take the AP exam. And all of our students must do that, except for one new course, AP Human Geography, which I'll talk a little bit more about at the end, well, in the spring, in May. If you score a 3 or higher, that's considered successful. AP exams are scored 1 to 5, and 3 would mean that they are college ready. We'll talk more about scores a little bit later. So these are some, we had a meeting with the College Board in the fall, and these are some statistics that I got from their presentation. And just so that you know that AP is really a comprehensive program. It's offered globally. And the interesting thing is the strongest growth that they're seeing is in South and Central Asia and the Middle East. So we're seeing a really a large growth in AP courses. Even at ASD, every year we have more AP students. We're offering more AP exams. I suspect that I'll be administering upward of 1,000 AP exams this spring for our students. So currently, we offer 29 courses. That includes in-house courses as well as some that are offered through our virtual high school program. And here's a full list. Coming up, we have a few changes for next year. In our social studies department, we are now offering human geography with an AP option. So at the beginning of the course, students in their sophomore year or their junior year can take this course, and they will decide whether they want the AP option or want to do the course with the exam at the end. They'll have to determine that early in the course, but this is a new thing that we're trying this year at ASD. Okay? Also, this year we introduced Physics C, a mechanics course. And we're expanding on that, so we're also offering the second part of Physics C next year, which is electricity and magnetism. And that course will occur in sequence, so magnetism and electricity and magnetism, and they will do 2 exams in May. Can I just get through it and then just say a question?
Just asking, have access to?
Yes, I will make all this information accessible, as well as this presentation is being recorded. So everyone wants to see scores. So here are scores. What I'd like to say, though, is overall our kids are outstanding, and we are doing very, very well at ASD. We have a lot of kids taking APs, but we have a lot of kids that are scoring 3 or higher. They're showing that they're college ready in all of those 29 courses, which is exceptional. So if you look at the top here, these are our statistics from 2014 to 2018. And it shows that last year, almost 93% of our students were successful on their AP exams holistically, like earning a 3 or higher. When you compare to the UAE and then globally, last year we had 60 and 61% being successful. So it's something to celebrate and something to know that, again, what we're doing, must be doing something right here. We're setting kids up for success, and kids are working really hard. So this is on our course profile, and I've made those accessible for you at the back, so you can grab one on your way out if you don't have a copy. It's also available on the ASD website. There's lots of electronic copies of this as well. But in the spirit of knowing scores, this shows how our kids did in each of the classes in 2018. And in almost every single course that we have, we are above the global mean, and our kids are being very successful. So the first chart here shows the percentage of students that are scoring 3 or higher, or showing that they're college ready. Then the ASD mean compared to the world mean. So if you're interested in those statistics, again, that's all for you on the course profile. So what are the benefits? There's lots of benefits to AP. Of course, the fundamental one would be the inherent learning that comes from these rigorous courses. And when students if they're really passionate about an area, that's the first thing that I ask. When they're trying to decide what APs they want to take, well, what are you interested in? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do after you leave high school? They can really kind of dive deep and find out, is this the path they want to take? It is academically rigorous for sure. It is valued at the college admissions level, of course, and it's going to help them be ready for college. I'm going to speak a little bit more about earning credit at the college level. So it's another benefit. If a student is successful and has the score that the college is looking for, they can earn college credit at that level as well. So this is not an easy answer, though, about earning credit. It's different colleges. It's very college specific, and it's very program specific. So if that's something that you want to explore, I've given a link here. It's through the College Board. They link all the schools that they're associated with, and you can start to look at those questions to see what is the score a student needs and if they will offer college credit at all, depending on the program. Okay, so it really does vary by institution. So our AP exams. So all AP exams are administered at the same time. This year, exams happen between May 6th and the 17th. Please note that that will be during Ramadan, but the exams timings will also extend beyond the school day. Exams are typically 2 to 3 hours, leaning more towards the 3 hours. And there's two main components. The first half of most AP exams are multiple choice component. There's a break and then a free response. There are some exceptions, for example, our AP Music Theory or our language exams that have a specific format, but we are trying to prepare our kids for these exams by offering mock exams coming up in March. That schedule has been posted for students. It's on our AP Power Learning page. I'll speak more to that at the end. So kids should be aware of that. Teachers are talking about it to give them a mock exam experience and preparation. So our typical timings for our morning exam would be a start at 8:30. We tried to align that with the start of the school day because we realize drop off and many of you have more than one children. So 8:30 to 12, followed by a short break, and then the afternoon schedule is at 12:30, which can go to 4 o'clock or later. We do have a planned absence policy. So in April, students will be given access to a detailed exam schedule that is specific to ASD. All the kids have access to the AP exam schedule. It's set already. You can also see that at any time. But the timings and locations of where those exams will be for your students, that all will be made available to them in April. At that time, we will also give them some excused absence to study and prepare the day before. So what we ask students to do is to go through that schedule, find their exams, so that they're prepared. Also to see if they have any conflicts. They rarely happen, but they do happen where a student may have two exams both at the same morning. And so then we will order them a late exam at that time. So I need to know that information early. So it helps them prepare for that, and also so that they know when they'll be excused, and then that's in our system that they'll be studying typically the day before the exam. So that information is coming their way in the spring. I always get independent exam requests. So students have been notified about this in the high school bulletin. There is a Google form that they need to fill out if they want to request an exam for a course that they're not in here at ASD. These are typically related to languages. So we have a lot of native speakers in various languages, for example, German, Italian. They would like to take the exam and are involved in some kind of self-study. So you need to fill this in. At that point, it's not an automatic approval. What we do is we look at the request, we look at the age of the student, we talk to their counselors, we talk to the language department, making sure that they are eligible and this is a good fit. And then from there, we'll let them know of that approval and the exam will be ordered. Just a note, obviously those exams also need to be paid for, just like our regular AP exams. And again, that Google form is available on the AP Power Learning page, and students have the direct link in their student bulletin. So results. We do all this hard work in May. You have to be patient. You need to wait till July. Last year, international schools had access on July 7th. So those details will also be made widely available to the community in the spring after AP exams. Students need to have a College Board account, and they need to know what their AP number is, which is part of our pre-administration process. So just keeping those things in mind, they can log in and see the results in the summer. So I talked about a 3 or higher being college ready, but this is a little bit more specifics about what those levels typically mean. This is a chart taken directly from the College Board. And this is data that we're always looking at as a teaching community. So what it means here is extremely qualified to study that subject at the college level. So again, 3 or higher, college ready. And as the score goes up, the more ready they are for that subject. So all our exams come with a fee. Just putting that out there now. So every regular exam, currently the fee this year is 475 dirham. However, if you have a son or daughter that is in our Capstone program, which involves the AP seminar and AP research exam, it is at a higher fee, so that's 525 dirham. And those costs are set by the College Board every year. The timeline for payment is essentially the month of March. So the deadline is March 28th. So if you have any, if your son or daughter is studying APs, if that payment can be made at that time. The accountant has all the exams that each student is enrolled in, and they will have a final total there for you. So here's some of our myths or misconceptions or things that I just want to discuss about what it's like to take an AP. Okay? AP courses are for students who always get good grades. Okay? It is appealing for those students that want to challenge themselves academically, who do really well. But no, anyone can take an AP course, okay? And for me, the baseline is there an interest? Is there a passion? If they work really hard and they like it, then they can do well and will do well, okay? And things can really change year to year, and students really grow and develop. So don't limit yourself to those possibilities, okay? They're too stressful. They can be challenging, for sure. I think things become stressful for kids when they take on too many. So I cannot emphasize this enough. Try your best to choose the number of APs that your child can handle. Some can handle more than others, and they thrive in that, but some do not do as well. Also, we have students that are involved in lots of extracurriculars, so you want to have a balance. Typically here at ASD, we'll have students that'll take 2 to 3 a year in their junior and senior year. You don't have to take that, but I would say that that's an average. If you're going to go on the upper end or the lower end of that, just make sure you're having those discussions at home. I don't think I will score high enough on the AP exam to get college credit. You don't always need to score a 5. Okay? Again, 3 or higher determines college readiness. And again, depending on the institution, those scores could be in the 3s and 4s as well. So just do your research and just know that that's not limited to 5s. Taking AP courses could hurt my GPA. GPA is important. Okay, and that is the thing that colleges are looking at. Okay, so it is important that students are aware of that and take that seriously. But also realize we are giving a 0.25 bump for completion of the course and a completed AP exam. Okay, I can't take an AP because I am not eligible. So, course registration is opening up. Your students are going to have access to Power School where they can start to make those choices. For some of our courses, including AP courses, students will our teachers will determine whether students are eligible or not for that course. Those are based on lots of different points of data. We have AP potential, we have grades in their prerequisite courses, we have their learning skills. If, upon review of that, if the teacher feels that they would be successful, they would make them eligible for that course. If they're eligible, it will come up as an option. The term for this used to be recommendation, but what we found from that is that some students felt like oh, I've been recommended, so I should take it. My teacher recommends that I take it. That's not the case. Now we've changed it to eligibility, so you've met the criteria. Yes, it's eligible for you if you want to take it, if it's a good fit for you to take. Also, you may go on there and not find the course you're looking for. That would indicate that your child was not eligible. That does not mean they can't take the course. Then they engage in our override process. They need to get a form from the counseling office. They need to have a discussion with the teacher and go through the reasons why they were not made eligible, and then have discussions at home and signatures from home, and then going to their counselors with that form. Okay? And that's just to have that conversation at that point. These are our concerns at this point, or we didn't see this in your prerequisite course or grade. Are you ready? Is this something you really want? And knowing that that could potentially be a little bit more of a challenge for them. All of our high-achieving students take an AP in grade 10. No, some do. And this year, our only eligible course was AP World History. Next year for sophomores, we will have that AP Human Geography. But again, it's an option. So they can take the course without the AP option and exam, but they will have those two choices. So if they're interested in social studies, or if they want a course that gives them a foundation in this area, yes, they explore this option, and they should talk to the social studies department about that. But the majority of our courses are offered in the junior and senior year. That's by design. That's when we feel students are ready. That's when we feel they'll be most successful. That's when we feel they get the highest scores. There are some other exceptions that come out in grade 10, but those are exceptions. And if you have questions about that and those come up in science and math, you can talk to me about that directly. If I was an A student in grade 9, I would get an A in my first AP class. This is hard. Okay, we talk about this every year. So kids that take an AP in grade 10, or even in grade 11, it's their first one. Again, we're going from a high school level course to a college level course. There is transition. It's not easy. Those A's will not come immediately at the beginning, and that can be really difficult for students and for parents, especially if you've had really high achieving students to that point. But just realizing that sometimes it takes them time. The workload's different, the level of inquiry is different. Be patient. And what I always say is go back and look at those overall AP scores. Our AP World History scores were exceptional this year. They were 4.3 overall. That was our average. But early in the year, if I was talking to some parents, they probably didn't feel that their kids were going to be that successful in the end. But it is a process. Okay? So just be ready for that. Fives. Students didn't earn fives, it's a lower number. It's very difficult to get fives, and especially in some of our subject areas. We are obviously striving for that. We have a lot of students at ASD that do get fives, but not everyone gets fives. So again, thinking about that 3 or higher, your student or your child would be college ready. The more AP courses, the better. So again, I spoke to this earlier. Most of our students, actually over 90% of our students, are going to take one AP here at ASD at some point, okay? And we encourage them to do that and explore those topics they're really passionate about. But again, this isn't a one-size-fits-all, and I've talked to students about this. Sometimes some students have said, stop telling me not to take APs, I can handle it, like, I want to do it, I thrive off of being busy. And I do think there are students like that out there, for sure. But there are other students that maybe not. So again, finding that balance that works for your child. Okay, so some next steps. So we went through eligibility earlier. Just to revisit this, I didn't explain AP potential. So after completion of the practice SAT or PSAT, we get a report, or I get access to a report, where I can customize it by subject area. And based off the results of your child, it will tell me on a percentage scale how likely that student will be successful in that AP course. So we could look at a 70% success rate for AP statistics. And we will get a report based off of their performance on the PSAT. So that is a helpful piece of data. That is one piece of data that some departments look at, okay? This is something, though, that also our students, I think, are becoming more aware of, that we're looking at that, but it is something to consider when actually completing those PSATs as well. But again, the other things we're looking at, are they meeting the course prerequisites? What were their grades in the courses that are leading up to that subject area, and what are their learning habits? Okay. In the override process, just again a reminder, there'll be a form that needs to be completed with signatures from parents, the student, and teacher. And that starts with having your child advocate for themselves and taking that form and setting up an appointment with the teacher that is instructing that course. Okay, another consideration, especially if you have a child in grade 9 or 10, is looking really carefully at that 4-year plan. Where do they want to be at the end? What APs do they absolutely want to have so that they're meeting those prerequisites and making themselves eligible and being able to make sure they fit it in? Okay? Another thing to think about is the AP International Diploma. So this is a really great option for our students, and this can be earned without any application process. Students automatically get this distinction upon completion, okay? So what needs to happen by graduation, students need one course with a global perspective, and I've listed the AP courses here that we offer at ASD that would fit that criteria, essentially a social studies credit. Then they can choose any other AP they'd like, but it cannot be a language course. So it could be AP Computer Science Principles, it could be AP Art, okay, AP Music Theory, a science or math or computer science course. Okay. And again, I've listed the courses that we have here at school and 2 different world languages. So this includes English, but again, then we offer French, we offer Spanish, and again, some kids are asking for independent access to other language exams, which would make them eligible. We're also working on a process for our Arabic students. Currently, there is no AP Arabic. We're talking to them about that. Hopefully, with time, they will get there. However, for this diploma, we can grant a letter of language proficiency. So I'm working with the language department. There's an external language provider through the American Council called NUAL. And if our students explore that, and again, the details of this are still being finalized, doing this external test, bring it into the school, we would send those results in with a letter of language proficiency to hopefully be eligible for an AB Arabic equivalent for a language. So again, we're having discussions with the College Board. I'm working with the Arabic language department on that. Those details will be made readily available, but we're working to help our students in that capacity. Okay, so this could really help with this, earning this diploma. So it's a globally recognized diploma that to be eligible, you need to study outside the US. You need to meet this criteria, and it's to show that students have a wide perspective on the world. They can speak multiple languages, and they have sort of that international perspective on their learning. Another option is the Capstone Diploma. So the Capstone Diploma includes 6 total courses. You can also, students can get a Capstone certificate, and I'll speak to that. And there is an application process for this diploma, or access to the AP seminar and AP research courses. So AP Seminar is offered in the grade 11 year, AP Research is offered in the 12th year. And it's the cornerstone of this program. These are very unique courses. The focus is on research, inquiry skills, presentation skills, and the content is open to many disciplines based off of student interest of things that they want to question, things that they want to research, things that they want to explore. These are really great college preparatory skills to get. It can be a lot different than other courses in the AP world that are very content driven. So the application process for this is going to be a meeting for students next Thursday. They should be aware of that. That's in their bulletin as well. That'll happen during Flex Block. They just need to reach out to me or the current seminar teacher, Ms. Sohn, and we'll make sure that they get into that session. Applications will be given. Application is for us to look at their 4-year plan to make sure parents are aware that they want to take on this challenge. There will be a prompt and they will have to do a short essay response and their reasons of wanting to apply. In addition to get the Capstone Diploma, they need 4 other AP exams. The criteria for that is more open as far as discipline. It could all be in our maths and sciences, for example, but they need to score a 3 or higher in those exams.
Good question. You're referring to the 4-year plan, but this is only for junior and senior year.
Right.
So you need to be thinking about this in grade 9 and sort of make that decision in grade 9.
You don't have to make the decision, but I just think it's best to think about what you want so that you're considering what that path is going to look like at the end. That's all. Okay? Now, the other thing is, if students don't want to do a comprehensive 6 APs, but they're really passionate about research and inquiry and these skills, if they were to complete successfully the AP Seminar and AP Research and earn a 3 or higher, they would be given an AP Seminar and Research certificate. So that's also a designation that the College Board will give. Okay. If you're interested in Capstone or you have more questions, I'm offering another Talk Tuesday. Next Tuesday, that'll be specific into this. I'll go into depth. I'm going to give you examples of student work. I'm going to let you know what's happening here in the building right now. We've got some amazing research going on, what colleges are saying about it. Those questions will definitely go into more depth, and again, that would be next week. Okay, I have a little video. This is a College Board prepared video, but it gives a little of a perspective on the Capstone program, because I know that could be an unknown for some of you.
My name is Wesley Middleton. I'm a junior at Carmel High School in Indiana. I'm a point guard for the Carmel High School basketball team. We have a really good program here. We're currently the 4th best team in the state. It's always exciting to play a game at Carmel High School. We have a great student section. They get pretty loud, so.
My name is Shermine Tenali, and I'm a junior at West Shore Junior Senior High School, which is in Melbourne, Florida. My friends and I go to the beach a lot. We also, go to the movies, we go bowling. I just turned 16 a couple of days ago, and I'm hoping to get my driver's license in a couple of weeks, so I'm hardcore preparing for that driver's test.
I chose to take AP Capstone because I wanted a class that would challenge me intellectually, and I like the freedom that Capstone offers.
AP Capstone is different from the other courses offered at high school because you're really allowed to pick the subject which you research. We have learned how to look at a piece of writing and instantly evaluate, is the author credible, is the research biased in any way, and we really evaluate things further than in any other class. So it's taught me to look at any sort of research or any piece of writing in general in the same way.
AP Capstone is an innovative cross-curricular program that is really meant to prepare kids to be successful at the college level. It's not only preparing kids to master certain skills, but the content is not the focus. These skills are meant to be transferable to everything that they're doing.
I became interested in hip hop just through hearing it. I like the beats, I like the rhythm. For our group project, we chose to look at hip hop and see if it causes any illegal behavior in America's youth. And we chose this topic by coming up with ideas that we all had in common. In Capstone, it's really important that each group member is there for each other. And it's also interesting how much we get to know each other through the process.
One of our research papers that we wrote for AP Capstone was about the Indian River Lagoon, which was very close to home. It sort of like hit us a little bit harder than researching about some distant environmental pollution. So my paper focused on the environmental approaches we could do to improve the condition of the lagoon.
It's so much fun just working with your classmates in more complex ways than you will in any other class.
I think Capstone is incredibly beneficial to students because I've learned how to write a paper and actually make it concise, make it effective, get my point across in a fashion that is understandable.
I'm thinking more analytically, I'm thinking deeper. They're just skills that are vital in college and in possible future careers.
I think colleges might look at the fact that we have an AP Capstone Diploma and be impressed with it because it shows them that we can work in a group, it shows them we can collaborate past a high school level.
The tagline I tell my kids all the time is, "We are making you educated consumers of information."
You're getting vital skills that you're going to need later in your career.
And it's a really nice middle ground between high school and college so that we can be better prepared for the future.
So, a few final messages. So course registration, we had a kickoff with students on February 13th in the high school theater. And Power School will be open for them, I believe, the beginning of next week. And they will have until March 10th. And they need to register online. They will be getting some support for this through advisory and from their counselors, but you should start thinking about what your sons or daughters want to do for next year. The big message from counselors, and there is a general course registration information meeting, I suggest you guys go to that, but it's just making sure students really think about what they want. So many of them will come in the beginning of next year wanting those course changes, and sometimes they're not possible. So the more they hold stake in this process of registering for the things they really want, including their alternates, it's gonna make them happier hopefully next year. Okay? So some immediate considerations for grade 9 as far as AP is concerned. Again, the AP World History course and AP Human Geography, again with that AP option. And in the meeting today, I'll speak very specifically to that with parents and students. In addition, we have virtual high school applications. So we have some students that want to explore an AP subject that we do not offer at ASD. So this would be for that purpose. For example, AP US Government and Politics. They would go through the same process for any virtual high school course that they would work on independently. And again, that application or those interests is due on March 10th as well. And so they should speak to their counselors about that. Working independently needs to be a good fit for your child. It can be a really hard thing to do. These are rigorous courses. Obviously, having a teacher there to support them would be the ideal situation. However, we do have cases where a student is very passionate about a subject area we don't offer, or they need something for graduation or for a certain college. So we do offer additional AP courses in this capacity. Reminder that those independent AP exams must be completed by March 10th in time for ordering. And AP Capstone applications are due March 7th. So that's just the Thursday before course registration closes. And those are due to Ms. Shirley Thompson in the counseling office. But again, we'll be having an information meeting for students about that Thursday, February 28th, during that flex block. So some things to think about at home, especially to those of you that have AP coming your way for the first time. What is the AP courses that your child is truly interested in? Where are they going to be successful? We don't want students to feel stuck or in over their head, okay? Think about what they want to do to help them prepare for those college applications and for beyond that, their careers. So just being sure that you're familiar with that enrollment deadline, which is March 10th. Encourage them to speak to other students that have taken those AP courses. And encourage them to talk to teachers, okay? And they need to take some time to visit the AP Power Learning page. And I think I have that next. I'm going to skip ahead to that right now. Okay, so all students, current students, and families have access to this page. If you go to the ASD Go page, you know, the one that comes up and you see the calendar, there's a little Power Learning icon in the corner. It's like a big P. If you link on that and you're logged in with your ASD family email, you should have access to this. If you don't, send me a message and I'll work with Carol Jamal and we'll get you connected. Okay? So again, all students have access to this page. We're going to be giving them information and advisory and time to explore this. But this is all things AP. Okay? I'm very excited about this. So should you. Okay, so when they're making those decisions about AP courses, if they click on this tab here, AP courses at ASD, just a click. All the courses that we currently offer or will be available to them next year are listed below. So if we were to go to
Are there any APs which have a prerequisite?
Sorry?
Are there any AP classes, any courses which have a prereq?
Most of them do, yes. And usually it's a foundational course in the grade 9 or 10th
Not
year.
another AP?
No. And all that will be outlined in detail in the course description guide so that students will have that very clearly. So on every page, there will be a screencast or a presentation that historically has been offered in like an AP fair. But what we found is that we didn't have enough time to really get into the depth, and a lot of this is better because now you have access to it at home. Students can take time to review it. So we have a screencast, the list of the contact and name of the current teacher, College Board links, the current syllabus, and any additional information. So we have a student and having some dialogue there too, for them to really get a sense of what that course is about. So you can go there, students can go there. Again, we're going to give them time and advisory to take a look, but the more time that they're doing this at home, they can really get a sense of what courses they might be interested in, and this is a wealth of information. In addition to all those the AP courses, if you go over to these side tabs, there's information here about exam payment. The mock exam schedule is published and posted here. University credit, I've got links in there. I've also posted on the main page, there's been a couple of webinars that have been published by the College Board directly. The most recent one was in 2017, but it's quite good. And so they've made that available on YouTube, so that link's there. So there's a wealth of information here for you. So AP next year, there's some big changes happening with the College Board, but they're good. They're so good. So they are going to make a lot more available online. So what's going to happen is students will all have a College Board account, which many of them will have anyways because they need those to access their scores in the summer. but they're going to register for all of their courses online at that time. So then we will be able to see student name, and that's all registered, and AP coordinator will be able to see that behind the scenes. Upon activation of that, one, that'll tell us how many students are going to take those AP exams earlier in the year. That deadline is going to come in October of next year. But they'll also have access to new online resources, and the teachers can manage that information. So this is a huge change, and it's very exciting for our teachers and for our students, so that College Board is arriving in that capacity a little bit more. So again, upon that registration, there'll be access to online resources, including practice questions and tests and lots of other things that they can make available. So really excited to explore that, and that will be made available to our teachers starting in August. And registration for exams, typically that happens in April, where all the kids come to the theater and they fill out those bubble sheets and we get them all registered and they get an AP number. That will all be streamlined online next year. So for AP coordinators around the world, we're very excited about that. But it also means a fall registration. So things are going to change a little bit in that capacity. Okay? So I told you about the AP Power Learning page. Here are a few links that I feel are very helpful, especially when you're going through this process. College Board has a wealth of information, but there's an AP student page where there is a wealth of information about all the AP courses that are offered. And again, they give links, they've given past questions, past resources. Really great place for you to look and for your son or daughter to look. How to look at those PSAT scores and what they mean to you. Again, that credit policy, will they be eligible for credit at the college level? Again, that's very specific by institution, but this is a link that will get you there. Summer assignments. We recommend the summer assignments. We will post those after AP exams. I will start to reach out to teachers and we'll have those posted before students leave in the summer. And that learning that they can do coming into a course can be really valuable to them. And the format of that varies by teacher and by subject. Those will be made for you available. I'll have that on the Power Learning page, but we'll also put that on an external website link in case there's any problems with the internal AP page in the summer. And of course, you can email me anytime or come find me in the high school PE office or in the field house. That's usually where I am. All right.